Back. The official kickoff of Marathon Weekend begins this Thursday at the State House when the traditional olive wreaths for the winners arrive from Greece and are presented to the Boston Athletic Association in a ceremony that is a celebration of history.
And joining us to talk about the significance of the wreath ceremony are the Consul General of Greece in Boston, Stratos Efthimiou, and Nicholas Cortis from the Alpha Omega Council of Boston. That's the Greek-American organization, which began this tradition back in 1984. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And we should talk, first of all, about the history of this, because I don't think we stopped to think about this. When the first modern Olympics was held in Athens in 1896, right? Representatives from Boston were there. And so the next year they came back and established the Boston Marathon on Patriots' Day. And so there is this important historical tie between Greece and Boston.
And between Boston, the Athens of America, and Athens. And Marathon is very close to Athens, and the Battle of Marathon was very instrumental for the survival of the Athenian democracy. It was a battle between the soldiers and slaves of an empire and free citizens who fought for the survival and defense of their democracy. So there are many connections, and the marathon takes place on the Patriots' Day in Boston, in this city upon a hill, which has a very special place in the constitutional history of this country.
So much historical significance. And Nick, the marathon wreath ceremony was established in 1984 to continue that connection between the countries. And your organization sees the marathon as an important symbol of that.
We do. We see it as a symbol of the connection between ancient Athenian democracy, what makes Boston special as a place educationally, its leadership on so many moral issues over the years, and its leadership role today throughout the United States, and the learning that takes place here, and the way that Boston projects itself throughout the world through its educational institutions. So the marathon connects Boston to ancient Greece, and it connects it to the future of the United States and civics and voting and the importance of citizen participation.
And the wreaths are so beautiful. We have one here. And the crucial thing to point out about this, it says there on the base, in memory of Stylianos Kyriakidis, who really was the first person to conceive of the idea of a charitable run. Quickly tell his story.
Sure, thank you.
So he ran in 1946.
He ran in 1946. The doctors didn't give him permission to run, but he said, since I have a document from my athletic federation, I can run. And they let him run, and, you know, despite all predictions, he managed to win. He was very much encouraged by a little boy who became later the governor of Massachusetts, Michael Dukakis, who was, one person who supported the, the establishment of the Boston Marathon wreath ceremony in 1984. But Stylianos Kyriakidis was, he became a legend because he was the first marathon winner who ran for a charitable cause. He fundraised and he collected money and food for the Greek people who just got out of the Second World War. They had the fought against Nazism. There was a civil war. So he brought with him a boat full of food. He was greeted in Athens by 1 million people. He was a national hero. But the thing is that he inspired a generation of winners to run for a cause, to run for something bigger and greater than themselves.
Wreath ceremony Thursday night at 6 p.m. You're going to be hosting.
I'm excited to be with you. I'll be hosting, and WBZ is thrilled to be a part of it. Thanks so much for coming in to talk about it.
It means so much to us that you are going to be with us for one more year.
It was wonderful.
And we're very appreciative to WBZ TV for its wonderful 35 years of broadcast journalism of the marathon. It's a great civic function.
And we're going to honor WBZ and the director, Mr. Mark Land. So it's for your contribution to the coverage and to the promotion of the marathon. You are the marathon station.
Yes,
we are.
We're excited.
For a long time now. Thank you both so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much.